I want us to take a minute now to look at dividing by numbers that are multiples of 10, 100, or 1,000. So earlier we divided by 10 or 100 or 1,000, but this time I'm actually dividing by a number like 30, for example, which is 3 times 10. And so 15,000 divided by 30 is our problem. Now here's what I should recognize. Well, let's think about it. I like to think of pieces of candy because I like candy. If you had 15,000 pieces of candy and you had 30 people to give them to equally, that would be 15,000 divided by 30. Now you could go ahead and divide the whole thing by 30, but we actually should recognize that if you took the 15,000 and you divided it into 10 equal groups, and then you took those groups and divided them into 3 equal groups, then wouldn't that give you 30 equal groups? And so we can go in this order. We can take 15,000, divide it 10 ways, then divide it equally 3 ways, and that would be the same answer. And the reason I like to do that is because, well, dividing by 10 is so easy to do, right? 15,000 divided by 10, if we just take this problem, well, we know how to do it. We know that we're going to take a 0 away and get 1,500. And so our new problem is 1,500 divided by 3. And once we get here, it's pretty easy. We could set it up and divide it this way. I think most of us could recognize in our head that it's going to be 15 divided by 3, which is 5, and that the 2 zeros are going to be left. But if we wanted to come down here and divide it this way, we could do that, and what we would see is that it is the correct answer. It is 500. 15,000 divided by 30 equals 500. And we don't have to set it up with the 15,000 and the 30 in the division problem to do it. We can go ahead and drop that 0 at the start, and it's like dividing by 10 first and then dividing by whatever is left. Okay, so now what I'd like us to do is take a look at another problem. What if we divided not by 30, but by 300? So here's 15,000 divided by 300. Once again, just like last time, we said you could divide it into 10 equal groups and then 3 equal groups. On this problem, we can divide into 100 equal groups and then 3 equal groups. Or in other words, I could go ahead and take this 15,000 and divide it by 100. We know that 15,000 divided by 100 is really just 150. We can mark out the zeros. Now we've already divided by 100, so now we're going to divide by 3. And you notice that's why I've actually just been marking out the same number of zeros on both numbers. That's because I went ahead and divided by 100, and what's left is 150 divided by 3. And in 150 divided by 3, we know that 3 times 5 is 15, so 3 times 50 is 150. If we divided it out, it would look like this. And 50 is our answer. And we could try to test to make sure that this is true. We could do 300 times 50 to check our answer. And we get 3 times 5 is 15. And I see 1, 2, 3 zeros. So we'll add those zeros. And we do get 15,000. So we know it's correct. If that works, let's try one more. Let's try problem C. Problem C is going to be 15,000 divided by 3,000. Okay, and if we're going to divide by 1,000, what you would expect to do first would be, or divide by 3,000, is you'd expect to divide 15,000 into 1,000 equal groups. Well, that would just give you 15 groups of 1,000, right? And then we would take those, but we don't want 1,000 groups, we want 3,000 groups, so we divide that by 3. It's just 15 divided by 3, which we've memorized is 5. And so to check our work, let's say 5 times 3,000. Well, 5 times 3 is 15, and we see 1, 2, 3 zeros, and when we write them, we get 15,000, so we know that it's true. So let's just always make sure when you divide by a number like 30 or 300 or 3,000, the easiest thing to do is first to get rid of the zeros, the same number of zeros in both the dividend and the divisor, and that will make your division problem so much easier.